I don't know if you guys have heard, but Budweiser's having a tough week. I know, what is this, like the eighth video on this subject? It's interesting, right? Because I don't have a horse in this race. I don't drink or do any of this stuff, but because you guys like the topic, and I think that there is some substance, and there are some very important lessons to learn on this topic, I'm going to continue to discuss it, because this is one of the first times that a boycott campaign from the right is actually working. And in the grand scheme of things, a boycott campaign that's actually producing results, full stop, because very few of those actually work. It's like sanctions from the government. How well is that working out? All right, ruble's hitting like record fantastic, but this is an interesting thing. Okay, Budweiser Clydesdales event. The Clydesdales have nothing to do with Bud Light. I'm sure that they've done a marketing crossover, but when it comes to the Clydesdales, that's a uniquely Budweiser event. And why the horses, though? Do you think that Dylan would get too turned on? But it was canceled over security concerns. Okay, do you have an actual threat, or is this just one of those situations where it's, oh my god, we need to play the victim in case of an emergency? They broke the glass and they hit the button. Like, all of their terrible decisions are finally coming home to roost, and instead of addressing them full on, because this story came out a few days ago, I think I've made allusions to it, but it's a nice setup for where we're going. Instead of soldiering on, the only way that you can approach these types of boycotts or harassment campaigns, whatever the hell you want to call them. The only way to properly address this by not addressing it, and that's normally the most tactful and best approach that you can have, or make light of yourself. But, of course, they go with the third door on the stage and, yes, play the victim. So, what do they have right here? Maybe the Budweiser Clydesdales should identify as thoroughbreds. Oh, bruh. Normally I would anticipate this type of writing come from the New York Post, but in this case, we got the Washington Times. I've seen this story specifically circulate a few different times, but we just had to cover it because I like the first line. It's fun. I like a good hack, a gender identity joke. Come on. Anheuser-Busch has canceled an appearance by the iconic team of horses over fears for employee safety. Okay, which event are they talking about? According to a report by Missouri TV station KOLR 10, local Budweiser distributor Will Fisher Distributing. Oh, that's interesting because, geez, I can't quite remember, but a couple of days ago we talked about the distributors and the fact that they don't really have any demand for Budweiser products. So, interesting. To cancel all showings involving the Clydesdale team, including one scheduled for Springfield. I think that's the state capital of Missouri. I'm pretty sure. CBS affiliate for Springfield area said Anheuser-Busch provided no other details. Funny, that had been their strategy going forward, and everybody's just been waiting and waiting and waiting for the announcement. But no, there was no receipts on this one, so yeah, no. The only one to make the call on this one were the distributors. And again, if you're going to have horses turn out, it's normally going to be like a family event. Like, I don't know any frat bros that would really take this shit too terribly seriously, turn up at these type of events and go, I like your horses, but we don't like chicks with dicks, bro. What's that all about? You might get a couple of offhanded remarks, but at the end of the day, people still go to Disney World and you can see what kind of garbage they put out. So this just, it reeks of playing the victim card when you know that you've already been got. Speaking of which, Anheuser-Busch finally addresses it, and yes, I'm going very well for him. Take a look at that ratio. That is, I've seen worse, but that's pretty bad, okay? 10,000, and that shit is rolling like a slot machine. 4.2 million views, 1,100 likes. Bruh. 10,000. 10,000, lump it all together, because I'm sure that there's a few quote tweets that are in there. 10,300 comments, and it keeps rolling, because this only just dropped about 4 hours ago. And 2,200 quote tweets, just about, probably by the time that this publishes, 11,000 replies or quote tweets. Bro, you guys are getting roasted, but it can't be that bad, can it? You can tell by the title of this video that it's going to be an atrocity. Our responsibility to America. Yes, because, okay, Anheuser-Busch, even though it's, German, and I think that their headquarters I'm pretty sure they're on continental Europe. I'm not entirely sure where it's at, but, okay. Budweiser, I seem to recall it was marketed as America's beer, or at least it had a very strong connection with America's favorite pastime. And even as a non-alcohol consumer, whenever somebody says beer, it's the first brand that comes to mind. It's like whenever somebody says a hamburger, you think of McDonald's. Motorcycles, you think of Harley Davidson. Motor vehicle parts, you think of Dylan Mulvaney. But trying to take it's like you're a consumer product. You don't have to take yourself that seriously. We have a responsibility, to just be a decent mid to low quality beer. Like that's your only responsibility. You don't need to take social stances on things, because the only thing that you're going to harbor with those types of reactions is outright animosity for one of the two groups that's out there. So let's see how bad this is. 10,000 replies, can't be wrong. As the CEO of the company founded in America's heartland more than 165 years ago, the founders are spinning in their graves. I'm responsible for ensuring every customer feels proud of the beer we brew. Well, they aren't. Vociferous in their objection to your decisions, or not your decisions, somebody's decisions, but we'll get into those as well. We're honored to be part of the fabric of this country. Anheuser-Busch employs more than 18,000 people. Yeah, so the only people that you're responsible to are those 18,000 people, because if you guys pull stunts like this and lose $6 billion, $6 billion in 6 days, I know the guys in the C-suites are going to be totally fine when it comes to that. And the highest ranking individual that might end up getting cut off of this is the VP for marketing for one of your different brands. Like, outside of that, though, the people who are really going to feel the wrath on this are the guys that normally stock the shelves, because if they don't have beer because nobody's placing the orders, they're out of a job. You're going to be fine, because yes, Anheuser-Busch is an institution, but at some point in time, Kmart was an institution, and a series of terrible actions, well, leads to terrible consequences. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We have, and our independent distributors, right? 18,000 people and independent distributors employ an additional 47,000 valued colleagues. So you have 65,000 people on your payroll, or at least, tangentially affiliated with the Anheuser-Busch product. So why are you trying to appeal to 0.38 or less % of the population? And because everybody needs to feel included. Trust me, they're well included. We can tell by your stupid little rainbow stunts that you pull every June. We got it. I used to grow up in a time, just like everybody else who's watching this right now, where nobody had to see themselves on the screen. They had to see themselves represented in an ad to understand that, yeah, they're just trying to sell a product. Yeah, they're just trying to entertain. They're trying to tell a story. You didn't constantly need to be inundated with all of these political messages. You never had to see a press release like this. But anyways, we have thousands of partners, millions of fans. I fucking despise whenever anybody refers to anybody consuming whatever they put out there as fans. It's just, this is just a me thing. You can totally disregard this, but if anybody purchases your product, anybody who exchanges their time or their cash with you, I consider them supporters. I've always done that. I'm uncomfortable with the term fans, or I hope that I instill, or I always aim to. My aim is to always instill more of a connection than just simple viewership. But to say that you have millions of fans, well, they're also showing you that they're only likely to engage with your product if you adhere to their principles. So trying to shift to pander to somebody who, in the grand scheme of things, you're pointing to the exception in order to disprove the rule. That shit doesn't work. It never works at all. Like, what the fuck? Okay, so millions of fans and a proud history supporting our communities. Which ones? Which ones specifically? And which communities are you talking about? Okay, the trailer parks that you keep everybody down in by making them consume your products. Okay, the communities of lippy housewives with a steak over their face because dinner was cold. Like, which communities are we talking about here? The military, first responders, sports fans, and hardworking Americans everywhere. So we need to make sure that everybody's represented, but then at the same time, everybody consumes your product. Sounds like you had already accomplished your goal before you decided to pivot. Interesting. We never intended to be in part of a discussion that divides people. We need to represent and make every consumer feel proud. That's exactly what you did here. We are in the business of bringing people together over a beer. No, you're not. It's clear by what you're doing. You were trying to hop on to one of the big trends that you've seen everybody else doing, and it came back to bite you because you don't understand. You're willing to disregard your consumer base, and, well, no, here's what you're left with. My time serving this country taught me the importance of accountability and the values upon which America was founded. Freedom, hard work, and respect for one another, and adherence to trans ideology. As CEO of Anheuser-Busch, I am focused on building and protecting our remarkable history and heritage. Where's the apology coming through in here? No? Oh, okay, cool. I care deeply about this country. Do you really? Do you actually, though? Because you can say something. You right now, you're telling us with your words, and that's fantastic, but there's another old saying, okay? Demonstrate. Don't explicate. We've seen your company's action so far, and it kind of runs contrary to the statements that you're making. This company, our brands, and our partners. I spend much of my time traveling across America, from air-conditioned office to air-conditioned office. I mean, it's not that special. Listening to and learning from our customers, distributors, and others. Clearly not, because now you're just talking down to everybody. Moving forward, I will continue to work tirelessly to bring great beers to customers across our nation. I can see why it's right now. It's all just running. You can see the ticker at the bottom, man. 10,500 replies, 2,500 retweets, and what was that at? Quote tweets. Yeah, it's not looking out well for you. 132 bookmarks. I don't know what to do with that number, but 4.2 million people seen that hunk of shit. And here's the overwhelming response to it. Anheuser-Busch CEO offers flat apology following Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney backlash. Hi, we have a lot of customers. I like our customers. Okay, see you later. That's basically what it boiled down to. And it's like, do you want to address the multi-billion-dollar elephant in the room? No? Okay. Anheuser-Busch top executive on Friday, the top E on Friday, offered an apology flatter than a day-old Bud Light, or a fresh Bud Light. I hear it's garbage, as the beer giant reels from the backlash over its sponsorship deal with controversial transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Yep, didn't make mention to any of the situation once, because what else would that message to the public be in regards to? Whitworth finally broke his silence. This is Brendan Whitworth, by the way, and we actually have some more information on who this cat is, but a little more context here first and foremost. Silence over the he broke his silence over the brewing controversy, and made no mention of the sponsorship deal with Mulvaney. Yeah, of course not, because he hopes it all blows over and they can just go back to business as normal, or business as usual, because they got Pride Month to plan for, because you know that that's going to be just ultra, omega, quintuple, whatever other descriptor you want to throw on top of that woke when it comes to that. Oh my god. If you thought that the horses, no, actually got some new information on why the Clydesdale event was canceled. It's because they need to spend time dyeing the different feet on the little horses so that they can march like a pride flag, because there's just so many new colors and additions on the flag this time around. So they needed time for that. They couldn't be out there, marching around in the Mississippi April. He also didn't address the reports that senior executives were kept in the dark about Mulvaney rollout. No, it's because people like our beer and alcoholism is at an all-time high, so thanks for your money. Okay, peace, bye. Instead, Whitworth said he was focusing on building and protecting a remarkable history and heritage. There's no building that's happening here. It's being destroyed in real time, and you're not addressing the elephant by not addressing anything. Doesn't do much for building a reputation. The only thing that it does when it comes to building is redecorating the structure in which your history is housed in. And by redecorating, I mean smearing shit on the walls. There's nothing of substance there at all. It could have been put out by the CEO's AI account. Like, come on. Now, moving forward, I will continue to work tirelessly, blah, 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 said Whitworth, a Harvard Business School graduate who served in the Marines and was a, you betcha, CIT a plant, bro. Totally makes sense. And of course, the spooks are involved in this. Brendan Whitworth is the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, leading the company's growth and long-term commercial strategy. He became the CEO of Anheuser-Busch's InBev's and North America zone in July of 2021. Yeah, Anheuser-Busch proper. I'm pretty sure they're headquartered in Europe. I'm pretty sure that's what we read before. But Whitworth has deep experience in the CPG industry and served 8 years in the Marine Corps and Central Intelligence Agency. Fan-fucking-tastic. So if anybody knows how to just leak out a little bit of propaganda in the message that they make, yeah, no, we addressed it. Didn't you guys see that? No, there wasn't much. Shut up. We talked about our history. It was fun. Shut up. Bush distributors around the country have been feeling the fallout. Yeah, but we employ 18,000 people and 47,000 other people are out there. Didn't you know? Can't you read? With many bars in conservative states from Tennessee to Wyoming refusing to stock Bud Light. And yes, this is an international fiasco, not just simply a U.S. one. I simply don't understand why they hired a person who was doing the marketing. I mean, if your target customer is Kid Rock, which it clearly is, and then all of a sudden you decide to go RuPaul, that just doesn't make any sense at all. Oxygen Financial CEO Ted Jenkins told Fox News Digital. Yeah, it would be like if you watch, an episode of Sean Hannity Tonight or something, okay? And then whenever he cuts to one of the multiple commercial breaks throughout I think he has an hour-long show, whatever. So every 12 minutes he cuts to a commercial break. And then instead of the old Bill Devane, trying to sell you gold, or Tom Selleck trying to sell you a reverse mortgage, all of a sudden you start getting commercials for BET. You'd be wondering, this is a little bit fucking off. Okay, none of this resonates nothing resonates with me at all whatsoever. What the fuck is actually going on here? No, you're just being racist. It's like, no, I'm just noticing some changes here, and it doesn't really seem like you care all that. Shut up, right? All right then. Budweiser factories have also reportedly been targeted by a wave of bomb threats this week. Reported, just like safety concerns for the Clydesdale events, I'm sure. On Thursday, the Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that officers responded to a call from the Anheuser-Busch facility in the Van Nuys section. There you go, there's one, but a wave of them? Come on now, because those would be cataloged and, yeah, they would be derided as being just absolutely stupid. Like, listen, just have a laugh. If you don't like the decisions that Bud Light's making, stop supporting Anheuser-Busch, and then you just get more hilarious content like that shitty response from the CEO. Because calling in a bomb threat to a fucking brewery, all you're doing is hurting the people who weren't making the decisions on this shit, okay? They just looked at it in horror like everybody else because they knew, oh, fuck, why are we getting political? We're just a cocksucking beer, for Christ's sakes. Fuck. Spokesperson for the St. Louis-based, nothing based about this, beer maker told Patch that several other facilities across the country have received bomb threats. Provide receipts or it didn't happen. The Post sought comment from Anheuser-Busch. The company had previously defended its decision to hire Mulvaney, an actress and influencer with more than 10 million TikTok followers. Yeah, we know and all that stuff, but our twink has been awfully quiet about things lately, outside of the Rosie O'Donnell podcast appearance where it's fairly obvious that the deductive reasoning part of her brain successfully transitioned because I'm just trying to live my life. I don't know why I became so popular. Come on now. But you know who has caught up with Dylan Mulvaney? Crazy stuff, actually. You remember our boy James O'Keefe over here? I have no idea at all how he tracked Mulvaney down, but lo and behold, at a Four Seasons hotel, after all, just a regular gal out on the town at the Four Seasons hotel in Los Angeles, of all places. Was that 4 stacks a night? At least 4 digits. Like, come on now, it ain't cheap up there. Who you out there doing a shoot for? But looks like James O'Keefe with his OMG. By the way, that's O'Keefe Media Group, and what he's doing post Veritas. I don't know what Veritas is doing in this point in time. I'm sure that they're sucking up to some TradCon super PAC or some shit. Like, please support us. We'll do some work and we'll see where you go after that. But James O'Keefe, on the other hand, he's hitting the streets once again. Imagine that, somebody with work ethic putting in the reps. Big shock. Just now at Four Seasons in Los Angeles. This just dropped very, very recently. Funny, it was about 3 hours to the minute of when the initial response from the CEO dropped. Anyways, James O'Keefe questions Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney on OMG jailhouse footage showing women inmates testifying on being housed with male grape enthusiasts claiming to be transgender. It looks like there's going to be a big old classic Project Veritas style. Well, I guess it's going to be OMG group style reporting on this. So that'll be very interesting, and I'll be looking forward to that. But as of right now, we got a little sizzle reel. It's a shade under 2 minutes, and I think, why not? Why not at this point in time? It's Friday. It's the evening of Friday. We're all about to chill out and get ready and head off to the weekend. And I'll be streaming on Saturday, and I think we're probably going to be doing something along these lines. I'm thinking some feminism roundtables and then also some tranny roundtables, because that's what's popping right now. And that's ultimately, okay, because the trans issue, very, very contentious and very, very sparked right now, like it always is. But it's definitely in the limelight. It trends every single day. You guys like the type of content, so I would be retarded, okay? I would be mid-transition if I was to, move off the topic. All right, hey, Elon Musk told a BBC reporter that they sucked. Yeah, fantastic. He showed excellent frame control. But also, underlying all of this trans nonsense and what they're trying to use as some sort of a shield and a reason that everybody should care about it, but I take a look at it and it's like, no, you guys voted for this stuff. Feminism, right at the bottom of this. That's the cause of all of this insanity that's going on right here. You address the underlying condition, then we can start to see some changes. But that'll be Saturday. That'll be Saturday at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 out in the east, 5 in the west, and 7 in the central. Make sure I get that all right. Turn on out for that. It'll be fun as fuck. But as for right now, we got a 2-minute little spin with James O'Keefe, so if you will.
I'm James O'Keefe with OMG News outside the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills. Dylan Mulvaney.
Still wearing that same stupid Burberry jacket, but at least instead of a pink undercoat, you got a red turtleneck to hide the Adam's apple.
Is inside the women's restroom right now, so I'm going to ask him for comment about our story regarding women being raped in prison by men claiming to be transgender. Here we go.
Oh, that doesn't happen, except for like the handful of cases where it does happen. And probably the most sick and disturbing one that I can think of, I did a video on it. It was up here in Canada, which again, Canada, but it's a date that ends in Y. No, there was a child sexual enthusiast who decided to do the old flipperoonie and change their gender in order to be put into a women's nursing incarceration unit just outside of the nursery part of that stuff. Yeah, it's as sick as it sounds, and it makes me a little bit upset. But hey, man, the news is it's pretty chilling lately, so let's just continue.
Oh, Dylan, this is James O'Keefe.
Hi, Dylan. I like your wig.
OMG. Women are being raped in a prison in Washington State by men claiming to be transgender. There's footage of them talking about...
Yo, it takes big balls to do what James O'Keefe does, and I just couldn't imagine being that autistic about it, but shout out to him for doing that. Just absolutely not caring, being on a laser-focused mission. That right there is just some high-level work ethic, and it doesn't really much matter. Okay, it's just a slight guy in some heels. He does this to everybody. You remember the last time he was on the screen when he was, beefing with that tranny who decided to... Oh, I'm sorry, he wasn't a tranny. He was just a gay black guy that worked for Pfizer who was probably coming to a very quick realization that, oh God, if I don't cover all of this stuff up, I'm going to end up like a Clinton associate. So James O'Keefe, super based, one of the last good investigative journalists. So this isn't bullying. This is just his style.
The rape. Do you have a comment on the story here of the women being raped by...
But also, shout out to Dylan there for a second. I know. Just wait and hear me out on this one. Also, the ability to just absolutely also act like there's nothing going on. It's like you can tell that that's a little bit flustered, but still, man, a pretty decent frame control about this.
The men claiming to be transgender. James O'Keefe, OMG News. What do you think about the women who are being raped by the men who are transgender? Do you have a comment about that?
Please don't come in the elevator.
Oh, sorry. What do you think about, what is your comment to the women who are being raped by men claiming to be transgender, Dylan? So we're here with Dylan haven't had much Bud Light.
Yo, that poor Asian, or half Asian cat, I'd imagine. It's just like, oh my God, listen, I know I got a clown show behind me and I got another circus in front of me. Can you guys just I get paid like $15 an hour. Can you just, and we're in LA, for Christ's sakes. I can't afford rent and food at the same time. Can you just not do this right now? Fuck's sakes. I've never wanted an elevator door to close faster in my goddamn life.
Recently, but we're very interested in the women's prison.
Aw.
Dylan?
Gotta go.
Okay.
All right.
She did go into she went into the women's restroom.
What the hell are you doing? This is a women's bathroom.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm trans. If you guys haven't seen that clip, it perfectly surmises what's happening. Normally, Family Guy, outside of the first run, the initial 3 seasons, is kind of hit and miss because Seth MacFarlane lets his lefty politics into stuff, and he just kind of misses the mark. South Park, on the other hand, normally outside of their Andrew Tate representations, normally pretty much on the money when it comes to this stuff. And also, challenge to South Park when it comes to this. Have a big transgender spokesperson for some beer that is out there, and just have it on tap, but then also, only serve it between guys' legs. Like, just take it and ratchet it up to that South Park level where it just becomes absolute pure absurdity, because that's the only consistent outlet that continues to do that stuff. Or initially what I was thinking of, it just came back to me for a second. It'd be far funnier this way. You remember the old they took her gerbs sort of thing? Yeah, run that back, but this time, instead of hardworking Americans that are actually losing their job to illegal immigrants, have women out there for like Instagram thoughts or something like that, go out there and say they took our gerbs to all of the transgender spokespeople that are out there. That would be fucking hilarious. There's a $1 million idea for you. But also, I needed to pause X. I don't know if that's gonna get copyright claims, because Fox and Family Guy, big gay when it comes to copyright claims.
Trying to show them the footage. No comment here at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills.
No, it's just because it's the fringe. It's a fringe issue that's out there. It doesn't happen that often. But again, 0.38% of the population. So whenever one of these instances comes up, like, you can also take a look at the list of the previous shooters in the past, 6 months to a year. How many of those mass shooters that are out there identified somewhere on the alphabet spectrum? It's awfully disproportionate, don't you think?
All right. I wonder where she's going. He's going.
That's going. What you doing, James?
Do you guys have any O'Keefe beer? O'Keefe beer? You have any O'Keefe? No O'Keefe beer?
No, we got O'Doodles though. I think that's still under the Anheuser-Busch brands.
Do you guys have O'Keefe beer? You don't carry O'Keefe beer? You know when you'll get a shipment in?
That's racism.
I'm James.
Not bad. I look forward to see if there's going to be anything else on this. Mostly because James O'Keefe is, 1, incredibly funny. 2, switched up my numbering formula. 2, incredibly good at what he does. And 3, everything that he does also comes out in multi-part sequences. So I would imagine there's going to be something to go on that. But also over the weekend, god damn it, there's going to be some nuts shit. So no pun fully intended. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.